Hannah, the first question, as I tend to have, is there a question you're trying to answer as you move through life?
Hmm. Yes, I think there are multiple and different chapters of my life. I have different things that I reflect on. One that is always with me is how I can live more authentically. As you mentioned, the work with doing work with the dying as a death doula, I've learned a lot from so many people about this feeling, this common shared feeling of regret that people have at the end of their life. And it's not necessarily, oh, I wish I would have bought that house, or I wish I would have, taken that job. It's more, I wish I would have been more true to myself and lived my life in greater alignment with my own values. And that's, I think, this is just for me and what I think a good life is. Everyone has their
Yeah.
own definition, but for me, it really is that living in alignment with your values, because it's real, it's true, it protects you from that regret because you're living in a way that is aligned with what you find important, and that changes, I think, as well. And so I think I'm constantly recycling that question, because what my values are now, what's important to me now, are very different than what they were when I was in my 20s, and they'll likely be different, in the future. And so kind of constantly doing that self-awareness and self-reflection is something that I think about often.
There's lots in that. First of all, I love this idea of truly knowing your own values, and that being the driver to experiencing maybe more authenticity in your life. But then, as you kind of touched on as well, this sense of how that will lead to a life of like lacking in regret.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of times something that helps me in decision making, in terms of, there's always this question, right? Are we on the right path? Like there's this one path, we're supposed to find our purpose, we're supposed to be on that path, and it's kind of black and white like that. And I don't feel that's a way that everyone needs to live their life. That might be helpful for some. But one of the things I like to think of in decision making, in how I'm showing up for the day, is I kind of see my 80-year-old self and she's here, and I see my 8-year-old self and she's here. And those are the first kind of people that I ask for their perspective. How will I feel when I'm 80 if I choose to make this decision? And wait, what does my 8-year-old self think about this as well? And just getting that balance, those I think are just stages of life that I found a lot of insight from, and have not made a lot of decisions that on paper seemed like the decision to make, or what society was telling me to do. And that, I think, helps me make sure that I am in alignment and aware of my values. It's a constant refining process.
That's already something I'll take from this conversation. I love the idea of my 8-year-old self, my 80-year-old self, and kind of a symposium or a consortium of getting the right choice